Hey, you Marilyn Monroe fans, you diehard fans of the most beautiful woman of the 20th century, what we have in front of us is the house where Marilyn Monroe was discovered in April of 1944. She lived here with her mother-in-law, Ethel, and she moved here while Jimmy went off to war in the South Pacific in 1944. And while living here, this is where Marilyn Monroe was discovered. Thankfully for posterity, we're going to be able to grab this for you Marilyn Monroe fans all over the world. And unfortunately, or I guess I could say fortunately, I got here before they tore down this house. And like I said on all these videos, everything in LA gets torn down without a plaque. But Marilyn Monroe lived behind this house in a shack with her mother-in-law, Ethel. And as you can see there, that looks like an original pole from the 1940s with that spike up at the top. And we're at 5258 Hermitage Avenue in North Hollywood, California. And Marilyn Monroe lived with her mother-in-law at 5254 Hermitage Avenue in the back here in this little shack. And if there was no more of a perfect metaphor from rags to riches, then I couldn't even show a better example than this shack where Marilyn lived with her mother-in-law, Ethel. When Jimmy had her move in here while he was in the South Pacific, his mother was a nurse at Radioplane Munitions. And I'm not too sure, there's a discrepancy on the internet. One address says it was on Woodley Avenue at Van Nuys Airport, and another couple of websites said it was at the Burbank Airport. So I don't want to film that and not be correct. And anyway, we do know that she lived here in April 1944 until 1946, until she moved to Las Vegas to live with her Aunt Minnie for 3 months so she could get a divorce from Jimmy. And let's grab another. So actually on this street, pretty much everything's been torn down, and fortunately we got here in time. And that looks like that house or that condo looks like it was here during the war. And she worked at that place called Radioplane Munitions, and she got in there because her mother-in-law was a nurse, and she worked there, and then she got her in there as an assembler. She was spraying fire retardant on miniature airplanes used for anti-aircraft artillery gunners. And those were the first drones used in for military use. And if they weren't hit spot on by an anti-aircraft gunner, they would fall down to earth on a parachute. And apparently Marilyn Monroe's job was spraying fire retardant on those little miniature airplanes and inspecting the parachutes. And one thing about that, the guy that I guess that was his factory, his name was Reginald Denny, and he was an English actor who lived in Hollywood at the time. And that was a side hobby that he started in the mid-30s, building model aircraft. And he bought the original patent from a guy named Walter Wright, the patent to the miniature engine that he used in his little radio-controlled airplanes. And he called the engine the Denny Mite. And he used it was a radio controlled apparatus that controlled the little unmanned aerial vehicle that they used to call drones back then. And it was designed by Bendix, and apparently Bendix used to make a lot of electronics for the military in World War II. And anyway, getting back to Marilyn, she worked there for until from 1944 of April to, from what I've read, to January of 1945. Apparently they sacked her because they got tired of her calling in sick. And the reason why she was always calling in sick is because, like I said, she was discovered there And she was a photographer from the Army Air Force's first motion picture unit. David Conover was sent there to take photos as a morale booster for a military newspaper called Yank that they used to sell to the troops in the military. And it was supposed to be a morale booster, showing the troops at home how the young ladies were doing their bit for the war effort. Pretty young ladies. And apparently this guy, he took a photo of her putting a prop on one of the miniature drones that she was working on, and he liked the way she looked, and he referred her to a place called Blue Book Modeling Agency. And then right away they liked her looks, but they said they couldn't use her if she was a brunette. So that's where she dyed her hair to golden blonde, bleached it, and the rest is history. Right away she started getting employed as a model, and then that's why she started calling in sick. And then, like I said, they sacked her, and she lived here in this little shack with her mother-in-law until 1946 to go live with her Aunt Minnie in Las Vegas. Apparently her agent at the time, I think his name was Harry Lipton, he told her that, well, he was going to help her get to move over there so she could live 3 months so she could divorce Jimmy. And so she lived in this little shack for about 2 years. And like I said, this is where she was discovered. And there's no better metaphor for rags to riches than this house and that shack in the back. And thankfully we got here, fortunately, on time before they tore it out, and we can grab this for you Marilyn Monroe fanatics and lovers of the most beautiful woman of the 20th century. And one more point I want to make about irony, that how funny that Marilyn, the most beautiful woman of the 20th century who transcended into the 21st century as the model beauty of the future, worked for the first company that made drones used for military use. And how funny that those model airplanes developed into the first drones, and it transcended into the 21st century, and now that's all they do is use drones for military use, a la Afghanistan and all the war zones. Well, here you go, you Marilyn Monroe fans. Thankfully we could grab this for posterity. Let's grab it before they tear it down, raise it. And unfortunately, you'd think there'd be a plaque here where Norma Jean Dougherty was discovered on 5254 Hermitage Avenue in 1944. And they said that she made $60 a week, I think they said. Or no, she worked 60 hours a week and she made $25. Okay, well, if these walls could talk, if this street could talk, Norma Jean amazingly walked these streets and lived here and was alive here and making money and helping the war effort. And this is where she was discovered. And how sad that everything gets torn down in LA, but at least we were able to get here in time and record this for posterity's sake. And may Marilyn, may she rest in peace wherever she's at. And thank God there was a Marilyn Monroe. Thank you very much.